All right, Savannah. Savannah, where'd you grow up? Where are you from originally?
I'm from North Carolina, Winston-Salem.
Winston-Salem. And tell me about your family growing up. You had mom and dad?
Yeah, my mom and my dad, they met in AA. And really because of the rooms, I'm here. They even got married in a rehab. I was the flower girl. Yeah, my dad was addicted to crack cocaine, and my mom was addicted to opiates, pills.
How would you describe your childhood?
My childhood would be, I would say, unsheltered. I got a realistic view of the world, I think. But I also, my parents tried. You know, they tried to get help, even though they would fall again and again, they tried. And I appreciate them for that. And they loved me. Tried to protect me as best as they could. But it was hard. It was we didn't have the most money, and we were scraping for change all the time, you know. Moving from here to here, dad in and out of jail, mom, you know, was forced to get it together, breadwinner. Dad would pawn everything on Christmas, you know, wake up, everything gone. Mom would have to go buy it all back, kind of deal.
You made it through high school?
I did make it through high school.
What kind of kid were you in high school?
I was a very not present person in high school. I missed a lot of classes and a lot of stuff. Most of the times I was either drunk or high, you know, running away a lot. I ran away from my problems.
With all the drugs that were in your family at a young age, was there any abuse or anything?
There was no sexual abuse from my family or anything like that I experienced. Nothing like that from my family.
And after school, you went where?
After school, after high school?
Yeah, after high school.
After high school, I got a phone call that my dad had OD'd, that they had found him dead. And I kind of went off the rails. I got really into cocaine and crystal meth. I met a man who I was stupid and fell in love with. And his brother ended up pimping me out later on in a crack house in Kinston. So that's what happened, and you know, nobody would tell me what to do. You know, everybody had left, and I couldn't blame them. My mom, I remember calling my mom and asking her, please tell me, for once, I really want to hear what you have to say and your guidance. And she told me, I can't make that decision for you. So I made a phone call, and I'd never flown anywhere, and they flew me out to California. I had to get a friend of mine to sneak and meet me somewhere to pick me up so the brother wouldn't find out. And
You came out here for what reason?
I came out here for treatment. I came out here for rehab. And when I came out here, I managed to almost have 3 years. You know, when I came out here, I had no financial support whatsoever from anyone. I didn't know anyone out here. I was scared. I was really scared. I'm from a very small town, and this is a really big city. But my mom had financially, you know, she was dependent on me at that point. And she came out here, and I started working, you know, immediately at 19 and in treatment and substance abuse, you know, and I was working so much and not making it. I wasn't making it She was living with me. We were living in the same bed. I was so in debt, I was struggling really bad. I was really depressed. And I told myself of an easy and fast way to make some money. And I'm really ashamed of the fact, like, I put myself back out there. But, I'm not ashamed either, because I did what I felt like I needed to do for me and my mother. It might have, so I started working started getting back into prostitution. And when I did that, I would come home and I'd make sure, the bills would be paid and extra money in the pocket. Mom would have her food and her cigarettes and everything would be cool. But I would be in the bathtub scrubbing my skin off with bleach, and I was doing it sober at first, and I couldn't do that sober for long. And one of the guys that I had a date with, he offered me some Coke or some Crystal, and it was off to the races again. I tried to keep it under wraps and try to control it, and I couldn't. And I lost everything. Became homeless again. I was sleeping on friends' couches here and there. And I started shooting, which I really regret. I regret doing that.
Meth?
Yeah, meth.
Yeah.
That is a sensation like I pray nobody feels, because it's really hard to shake. I went into psychosis. I had 8 psychotic breaks. Ambulance, police were called on me multiple times. I was drugged. I was given something else other than Crystal by this girl I met who was trying to, I think, get me down to Tijuana. She kept trying to pay my friend in heroin to get me down there, to convince me to go with her. And her friend had shoved a bunch of drugs up inside me. Luckily, I freaked them out and, they got out, but it was really scary. It was a scary experience for me. And I finally decided, I was like, okay, I'm gonna try again. I'm gonna try to get sober again, and do that. And, I had actually gotten everything back, like even 10 times more. I was working a wonderful job that could turn into a career. I had a car finally, after years of not having one out here, and taking the bus for 4 or 5 hours, every day to and from work. And I was happy. I felt like, everything was going right. Everything was going perfect. And then one day, I just walk off my job. I walk off my job to go pick up Crystal, which they didn't have. I got shitted on. And then I got crack for the first time, and I fell in love with that. And ever since then, I haven't been able to stop. Honestly, I haven't wanted to stop. Even though I know that the pain relief is only temporary, I feel like I don't want to feel that pain anymore.
The pain that you're trying to hide from is what?
I've been having a lot of, one, my dad's death has really, really affected me. Being so responsible for my mother and doing it all on my own, it's worn on me. And when I was 18, 4 guys held me down and raped me. And then, I mean, when you work in prostitution, I mean, you're gonna get, prostitutes do get raped. It happens. You know, it's hard, and I didn't realize how much it had really affected me. You kind of get like this dissociation or something, but I started getting really angry at men, and you know, I wouldn't make a lot of money because I just, you know, I hate them, surely hate it. It was hard, and I think that's like the biggest thing I've kind of coming to terms with now is just, I'm just really angry, and I don't really feel anything but anger. And I don't know, it's just, it's been tough, it's been really hard, and everyone around me, I mean, I have certain people, you know, I have people in my life that love me and want to see me, you know, back where I was or in a better place, but I don't think they understand, like, I kind of find peace down here. You know, it's non-judgmental, but at the same time, it is very scary, and it can be like I have to keep a lock on my tent, and like, you know, I've woken up with bruises, and a lot of them don't like being told no, or, you know, some of them can flip in the switch. I mean, people are using drugs. I mean, drugs escalate. I mean, it's just, it can be very dangerous. I've had my shit stolen so many times.
Yeah, but being a white woman on Skid Row makes it very, very difficult.
It's been tough. Like, once I got out here, I'd go blocks down to like go pick up, and they would know me. And I'd be like, how do you guys know me? You know? I'd have like about 30 to 50 cars stopping me a day, even when I'm sitting in my tent. Even when the tent's closed, they come up to the tent. I mean, I guess someone told them. It's exhausting.
You've been on Skid Row for how long?
I've been on Skid Row for, I would say, it's been like 2.5 months, 3 maybe. My timing is not the greatest. I don't even know what day it is, to be honest with you. But yeah.
And you're still entertaining men for money?
Yeah, but I try to go to people that I've used in the past, regulars and men that have a lot of money that I can hustle. Kind of like projects, honestly. Now, but if I need a hit though, and I don't have one, hell yeah, I would get in your car. Like, that's just the truth. I mean, you know, if I'm in need, if I'm hungry, like whatever the case is, like.
It's a way to make a quick buck.
Yeah.
Tell me about hustling a wealthy man. What does that look like?
It can, and for me, it's like almost like payback. It's almost a payback. Hustling, sometimes you have a partner. Sometimes you have like a man partner who helps you, you know, in hustling or keeping you protected. Sometimes it's just really an art of, okay, it's not about, excuse my language, it's not about, you know, having sex with them. It's about like fucking their mind up, you know? Really getting that mind before anything else. And just, I mean, you make them feel comfortable, you know? Make them feel comfortable, make them feel loved, listen to them, hear them, you know, and each one's different. Each one wants something different. You have to be kind of a chameleon. You got to change with it. You got to be able to kind of be a mirage and whatever, be able to tell what that person wants and do it right, you know, be able to give that to them. And just, you know, for me, I like honest work. So like, as long as everything stays the same and they're honest about what they want, I'm honest about what I want, it's a fair number, you know, and everyone's respectful, cool, I'm all right with that. But if they step over the line in any way, I'm totally going to hustle them. I'm definitely going to get all of it. You know, and I don't really feel bad for that. I don't, as far as the ones that have hurt me.
Do you have a story you can share of the guy?
Yeah, I'll share one. So it's gonna be funny if he sees this later on. But so currently, I've been hustling this guy for like the past 3 months. Originally when we met, it was gonna be an exchange. Like I had told him from the get-go, I was like, you know, I'm a hoe, like, you know, I don't do feelings or anything, but I do product, money, you know, need some help here and there, whatever. I haven't touched him or let him touch me in 2 months, and he still pays for everything. He pays for everything. He buys my drugs, buys with me whatever I want, clothes. You know, he leaves his stuff open, leaves me in his house by myself. I go through his shit, take more money. He's in love, and I'm not. I'm in love with his wallet. I'm in love with his means that help me currently. I have no emotions on drugs, really, so I just don't care. He sat and cried and sobbed in front of me and told me, you know, about how much he loves me and all this shit. And I just don't give a fuck, honestly. I told him from the get-go. Now, it would be different if I had like done a bunch of bullshit, but I told him I was honest up front. Didn't listen.
Which makes him love you more, probably.
Yeah. So, you know, and, you know, I've even like, what's crazy is like, you know, I've called this guy all types of names. I've humiliated him. I've done a lot of fucked up shit to him because I'm angry at men right now, and he's kind of controlling. He tries to be, but I don't think he realized he can't really control me. So, especially on drugs. He, in fact, liked me doing drugs because of, you know, sexual heightencies. So now he can't tame it. Now he can't control it. It's out of his hands. But he doesn't leave. So, like, that's one of them. That's one hustle. And there's been many more, you know. It just depends. It just depends. A nice guy, I won't do that to. But a guy that pisses me off, absolutely.
How old are you?
I'm 22.
You're 22?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. You're so seasoned for a young girl.
Yeah, well, my parents were older when they had me, and I grew up with my grandparents' son, too. I will say that. I do appreciate that my parents didn't just have a bunch of money and throw me to a nanny or something like that. I'm really happy that even though they were strung out and even though all that shit happened, they did try to teach me. They did teach me, and they taught me well about respect and loyalty, morals, a code you go by, God.
What do you think made you so angry at men?
The fact that they made me realize that I am not invincible, that I'm not bulletproof, and that they took something from me without having a right to take it.
Do you think your work as a sex worker has created that? That's where that came from?
No. Well, when I was, that happened originally when I was sex trafficked in North Carolina, because that was unwillingly. Now, a lot of times...
So what happened in North Carolina that got you into this?
The brother of the guy I was seeing when I was 18, he had...
Oh, he's the one who kind of got you into it?
Yeah.
You feel like you were...
Yeah, no, and then that's when the rape happened. So when that happened, I didn't realize how much... And a lot of times women that have gone through that or have been into some type of sex trafficking or sex work, a lot of times they will return to it. They will. I don't know why. It's weird. It's like, it's weird in how ways it affects you. But I don't know. I feel like each year or each time I relapse or end up running back to chaos, I feel a little, like my heart's a little bit colder each time. My heart used to be like really, really warm. And it still is. It still is. I wish it wasn't sometimes. But this time I feel a lot colder than any time before. So I don't know. I feel like, I don't know if this is a valley or a pit I've fallen into, or I'm sure there's a lesson in the midst. But I'm just gonna take it a day at a time, I guess.
Living on Skid Row and addicted to crack and doing sex work puts you in a dark place.
Yeah.
There's no way around that.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. And I think like after, it does, but at the same time, you know, I find it very beautiful. And I'll say this, I love waking up in the morning and smiling at everyone and like seeing these beautiful people down here smile back, and how a lot of them, they're not greedy, and a lot of them are here to help you. I mean, since I've been down here, I'm young and I'm, I'm kind of a target, and I've had so many women and people look, and men too, look out for me just as much as the ones that are kind of after me too. And I really appreciate that.
It's nice to hear.
Yeah, so I still have faith in humanity. And that's one thing I do love about down here. You know, it might get scary at night, but in the morning it's always beautiful.
Yeah, it's a very different place at night than it is during the day. Do you have any friends?
I do. I have friends down here, friends who have become like family to me. I'm very grateful for them, because it can get really lonely sometimes. Like when I'm in the tent and I'm just in there, sometimes it gets lonely.
What's your biggest fear?
My biggest fear is, losing my mom. My mom actually had a procedure this morning that I was supposed to take her to, or I was supposed to help her with. But instead, I sat in the car all night smoking crack. And I feel like shit because of it, but at the same time, I can't stop. I just hope she's okay.
That's the crack behavior that gets its reputation as being so scandalous.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure you wanted to be there. Your intention was to be there.
And that's the crazy part about it, is like, you know, everything feels robotic. It feels like something takes over, you know. It's like I can mean everything in me, every fiber in me, that I'm gonna be there. I've told her over and over, you know, I promise you I will not miss this. I knew how scared she was for it. And I just sat and I sat and I sat. And I looked for crack and I searched the floorboards, and I just couldn't get it together. It scared me being away from here, because I knew I'd have a harder time finding it. And I didn't know how I was gonna deal with my mom going through that.
Your parents were in love with each other?
My mom and my dad were soulmates, as my mom says. Honestly, when they were sober together, oh my God, it was beautiful. They were like big kids, you know? My dad was so respectful, and so funny. I mean, he could make anyone laugh. And my mom, I mean, she's just like such a peaceful, you know, go with the flow type of person, but she's also very strong, you know. And my dad, he was just the greatest guy you'd ever meet. I mean, just anyone's best friend. He could be best friends with anyone. When they were sober, they were amazing. When they weren't, that's when sometimes I believe God sends angels down to earth, and then sometimes those angels can turn into monsters, and God has to take them back and turn them into angels again. I think that's what happened to my dad. I never thought I'd be scared of my hero. I never thought I'd be scared of Daddy. But he got violent towards the end. And I ended up in foster care for a year because my mom had become suicidal at that point, and it was unsafe for me to be in either household. And then, once I was 18, it was off, and I was running. I was staying at friends' houses. I was going anywhere I could, but most of the time I was getting kicked out because I could not follow rules for shit. I just can't. I don't have a control problem with others, wanting to control others, but I definitely want to be in control of myself. I watched my mom get controlled for 13 years being married to my stepfather. And she was so depressed, miserable. I said that'd never be me. So maybe that's why I buck so much. Maybe that's why I fight the man so much. My dad also taught me, when I was younger, he said, never be scared of a man. And I got scared of them, and now I'm taking it back. So.
What's your biggest regret?
My biggest regret would be not getting to see my dad before he died, not getting to hold him, or not being able to. I waited so long so no one could keep him away from me, we could finally be together. And I always had hope for my dad. I always thought he'd get better. I really did. And to have hope and faith and fearlessness like that, and wake up one morning and one phone call just takes it all away. It was an awful feeling. That would be my biggest regret. That and putting myself out there. When I was sober, doing this sex work and stuff again, I wish I wouldn't have done it. Because it caused me a lot of pain, a lot of it. It caused myself a lot of pain.
Have you been in love before?
Huh?
Have you been in love before?
Yeah, most definitely. I've definitely been in love before. And, it's like that kid that doesn't want to go to prom, because they're afraid they're going to embarrass themselves or whatever. But, they have to take that risk because they'll miss out on the dance. That's what my mom always says. Like that Garth Brooks song or some shit, She's real Southern.
Where do you see your life going from here? You're still young, but where do you think you'll be in 3-5 years?
Well, honestly, part of the reason why I haven't wanted to get help or get sober is because I feel like I'm in the same pattern my dad was, and I just don't see the point if it's going to happen eventually. But I figure in 3 to 5 years, either I really wanted to become a paralegal. I really wanted to work for I had big dreams and shit of wanting to go and work for the Innocence Project and, change things about the Department of Corrections and Department of Justice, fight racism, because it was very it's still very heavily present, especially down south. And I've always had a passion about that. Or in 3 to 5 years, I could be, maybe I'll be with my dad. I don't know. We'll see.
What would you say is the most important lesson you've learned in your life?
The most important lesson that I have learned is forgiveness. To be able to forgive myself, to be able to forgive others, to let go. You know, I think people will get really, you know, a lot of my friends, you know, they're very like worked up and stressed out about so many things, and I let it go. Not to have hatred hold power. I don't hate people, you know, I mean, well, shit, man, I just said amen, but, you know, just like, I don't know, like, no matter how cold my heart might feel like it's getting, there's always a warm spot still. And I just hope that warm spot can grow a little bit bigger and bigger. Because I do like the person who I was. And hopefully I can get back to her one day. But right now, you know, this is what I got. This is who I got. Like kind of Jekyll and Hyde situation. The only thing that can save me from this would be God, I would believe. I think that's all I can hope for. I mean, that's where I find the most peace and understanding. Sometimes I don't get any understanding from him, but, you know, I think he gets me. I think he understands us. You know, it's really funny. I mean, like most of the important characters, you know, main people in the Bible, Rahab was a harlot, you know, Mary Magdalene, you know, come on. David, he was an adulterer, you know, he lusted. I mean, man, there's so many things. And I like stuff like that. I like that because God, he hung out with these people. He ate with these people. You know, he accepted these people. I mean, you know, he might have not accepted their behaviors and their things that they did, but he understood. He understood, and he gave grace and mercy. And I love him for that. I just try to keep it real with God as much as possible. I know he already knows what I'm thinking, so he's probably shaking his head at me.
All right, Samantha. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Absolutely.
I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.